Hello and welcome to Maxpert video series. My name is Anita D'Souza and I'm a product manager with ServiceMax from GE Digital. And today I'm here to talk to you about entitlements and what are some of the service challenges that you might face in managing them. Also, what are some of the business consequences because of these challenges. I will also be talking about ServiceMax's entitlement engine, how it operates, and what are some of the business outcomes by adapting this engine. So let's get started by understanding what is entitlement and why do you need it for your business. An entitlement is a process of identifying the right service agreement between you and your customer so that the right level of services can be provided. So let's say when you sell a product to your customer may be entitled for a standard 12 months warranty, which could include 100% parts covered, 50% of labor, and you might also upsell an extended warranty, which is also known as contracts, and these contracts may have their own terms, such as 10 preventive maintenance visits covered, and so on. These contracts also have some pricing discounts defined on it for parts, labor, and expenses. So now, when this customer calls in, what you want to ensure is that your support as well as your service organization is aware of these agreements such that they can provide the right level of service to that customer such that both you as well as your customer can get value out of these agreements, because this will lead to a long-term customer relationship as well as ensures an incoming revenue stream for your business. So let's say that your customer calls in your support organization for a support ticket. So now your customer rep would then create a case and then would have to go through a lot of manual effort to look through information such as contract, warranty, account, the product, installed product, to identify what is the right level of service this customer is entitled to. And at the same time, your support rep is keeping your customer waiting on the other end, so which makes your customer really unhappy. So now this really forces you into this one-size-fits-all service offering, which makes your processes so inflexible that you cannot really meet the changing market demands and provide some competitive service offerings. And thirdly, you really want this information to be available to your field engineers, because at the end of the day, they are the ones who are executing the service. So then, what are some of the business consequences because of it? Your technicians would end up providing an incorrect quote to your customer, which makes your customer again unhappy, because your customers are aware of these agreements, but your technicians are not, because they don't have the right information. Also, if your technicians are leaving the customer site without providing the service report with the right level of pricing information, this would lead to invoice disputes and delaying the entitled money that you're supposed to receive. And thirdly, because technicians never want to be caught up in situations like this, they just give up services for free, which means they leave money back on the table. So ServiceMax's entitlement engine is built on case and work order object, such that, let's say when a customer calls in, your support rep can create a case and initiate this engine, or your customer can create a case directly through the customer portal and this engine can be initiated. Also, if you have adapted to device cloud and enabled IoT in your business, then work orders are created directly within ServiceMax when the asset is not working. Hence, we can also initiate this engine at the work order level. Secondly, this engine also looks at data which would take a lot of manual effort otherwise, and make this automated such that it spins these wheels to identify what is the right level of service and provide the result. Thirdly, you can actually define this engine based on the account, which means the engine would look at everything that this account or this customer owns, or you could be specific saying what are the locations that this engine needs to look at, or what are the locations that are covered. Similarly, you can also specify what are the contacts that can call in for services. And if you want to, you also have the ability to define your coverage at the installed product level. So that means you could say that an asset is covered completely, or if you're tracking bill of material, then you can track the components and its subcomponent and define coverage accordingly. So this is basically how this engine operates and looks into all this data in order to provide you the right set of results. So now that we understand how this engine operates, let's take a closer look on how to set it up. So again, depending upon your business processes, you have the ability to define set of rules which this engine will take into consideration before it provides the results. So then what does it take to set it up? So first you need to define the qualification. And a qualification is basically an entry criteria, or at what point you want this engine to be initiated. And this could be something as simple as upon case creation, or let's say with a work order which has a status open. And again, if you have any custom attributes that you are defining on your case and work order, you also have the ability to use that in your qualification criteria. Next, we have the definition. You have the option again to define if you want to provide coverage at the asset level or at the account level. The third is the scope definition. Here you can tell if you want the engine to look at warranties, or do you want the engine to look at contract, or let's say both. And fourth, we have got the validity. So basically you can say that do you want to apply the validity based on the dates, that is the contract and warranty start and end dates, or let's say if you track asset usage, then you also have the ability to define those criteria and track them such that the engine would take that into consideration. So let's say for an example, you have a coverage defined on your contract which says that the asset is covered up to 10,000 rating, and let's say when a work order is created, that particular asset has exceeded the 10,000, so then that particular asset would no longer be covered. So as you can see, it's pretty straightforward to define these rules. Next, I would like to kind of walk you through different types of entitlement that ServiceMax has to offer. The first one being interactive. So the way this interactive entitlement works is that when a support rep clicks on a button, it basically prompts the results based on these entitlement rules that have been defined. Or if you want to have an automated process, you still have the similar ability, that is, here you don't need any clicks. Just based on the qualification criteria, this engine would automatically run and identify what service coverage your customer is entitled for. And you also have the ability, let's say you want to run both the automatic entitlement as well as interactive, you could do that. And let's say we have a scenario where the auto entitlement engine was not able to identify any contracts or warranty. So then your support rep could initiate the interactive and look at any expired contracts or expired warranties, and also any future contracts, so that all the necessary information is available at the support rep's fingertip, and they don't need to go through all the manual effort to get this kind of information. It's pretty easy, it's at their fingertip. So now that we understand the different types of entitlement ServiceMax has to offer, let's take the look at the actual results itself from this engine. So the first thing is, once this engine spins, it provides you the right set of coverage that this customer is entitled to, such that your support rep knows what this customer is entitled to and what services can be applied, and also your technicians who are in the field. So this particular data is fed into their mobile devices such that they can provide accurate codes, they can provide the right level of service, as well as generate service reports with right pricing information. And keep in mind, your technicians could be offline as well, and still they are able to provide this level of details. Next, we have got the SLA. So this is basically, if you have some sort of a time commitment defined on your contract, so let's say you have to provide like a 24/7 coverage or 8/5, you have the ability to define that on the contract, and this engine would also identify such SLAs and attach them to your case and work order, such that both your support as well as your service organization are aware of it and can act upon it accordingly. Thirdly, this engine also feeds data into our analytics engine, such that you can run some reports like the contract uptime or contract profitability, as well as you can see how you're doing against those time commitments to your customer. So these are some results that get generated from this engine. So now with these results, let's take a closer look at what is the outcome to your business. The first one being reduction of service revenue leakage. That is, now no longer your technicians have to give away free services or leave money behind, because they have the right set of information that they need, so that way they can do their work correctly. Second is accurate billing. Now that your technician, again, who might be offline, knows exactly what this particular customer is entitled for and what pricing they can apply for parts and labor, they can ensure that before they leave the customer, they capture a signature on the service report, which includes the service work that they performed, as well as parts and labor pricing on it, which means it just decreases your days of sales outstanding. And third, we have got faster in-field quoting, which means if your technicians are able to provide accurate quotes, which means faster approvals, which leads to upsells, that means more service revenue for you. And finally, this entire experience makes your customer really happy, which means you're establishing this long-term relationship between you and your customer. So ServiceMax customers have seen some tremendous improvements in their business processes by adapting ServiceMax's entitlement engine, such that they have seen up to 13% increase in their service revenue, as well as 11% increase in their contract upsell. I hope this video was helpful in understanding how ServiceMax entitlement engine helps you overcome some of the service challenges that you might have in your business today. Also, please stay tuned in the space for more exciting Maxpert videos. Thank you.